Let's talk RCFEs. Is it money in the bank or just breaking even? Let's crunch the numbers. The income of an RCFE, or a residential care facility for the elderly owner, it can vary widely depending on several factors, including the size of the facility, the location, the level of care provided, occupancy rates, and the services offered. So let's break it down. Starting with the size of the facility or home. The bigger it is, or the more residents you have, the more income the home will bring in. That's where the income comes from. It comes from the residents. So if you open a 6-bed RCFE, you'll only ever be able to make whatever the cost of care is times 6. But if you open a 16-bed, the margin becomes a lot bigger. Next, and this is a huge factor, is location. Depending on where you live or where the home is, the cost of care is going to increase or decrease, and this will again aid or take away from the income of the home. If you are offering a higher level of care, meaning the seniors need a lot of help with ADLs, it's going to cost them more to stay in the RCFE. But if they don't need much help at all, it's going to cost less. Of course, the higher your occupancy rate is, the more money you'll bring in. And then finally, whatever amenities or services you offer, that could add to your bottom line as well. The average cost of care right now in California as a state is $6,250. But it varies greatly depending on what city you're in, and then even within that city, where exactly the RCFE is. If you're in a level 5 area, it's going to cost a whole lot more. Many people rely on government funding to pay for their care needs, and that won't cover much, so lots of residents will end up paying private pay or out-of-pocket rates to stay in an RCFE. So this could be 2 times that average rate. I often hear of RCFEs charging between $5,000 and $15,000 a month per resident based on care needs, location, and amenities. I want to break down the numbers for you in just a moment, but if you're looking to open an RCFE, make sure you check out this video right here on YouTube where I share the 5 steps to getting started. You're really going to need to know these before you dive into the world of assisted living. The largest expense in an RCFE is going to be your staffing. They're going to account for 40 to 50% of your total expenses. So you need to stay as full as possible to keep the income coming in. Profit margins can range from 10 to 30% depending on the efficiency of the operation and market conditions. But the range to aim for is tighter. It's between about 15 and 25%. That's very fair, and you should be able to make that on any RCFE. You want to be breaking even around 70%, and you want the gross income to be over $50,000 minimum so that your net can be decent. So let's run the numbers. If you opened a 6-bed home in Santa Rosa where the average rates are $7,250, you may end up charging $8,000 per resident. That's right in alignment there. So 8 times 6, that's $48,000 coming in every single month. It's a little less than that $50,000 minimum we want to see, but let's keep working. The cost of housing is astronomically high in California. So let's put $12,000 a month on a mortgage right there, because to house 6 residents, we're probably going to want a 4 or 5 bedroom home. And since you're going to need a nice home in a nice area with 300 to 500 square feet per resident, and probably at least, the 4 bedrooms, it'll easily cost you over $1 million. And then to run the home, the expenses for a 6-bed home will probably be right around $30,000 a month, since the staff costs a lot in California. The wages are going to kick your butt. Well, let's be real. Everything costs a lot in California. This means that one home would be bringing you in $6,000 a month. But if you were going to run the same projections for a 16-bed home in Santa Rosa at $8,000 per resident, that's $128,000 coming in every single month on your gross profit line. But the house will cost a lot more because now we need to house 16 people. So let's triple it. Let's put in $30,000 a month for the mortgage, and that will afford us something nice. And we've got to increase the expenses. I bumped it up to $70,000 to run this home because we need to pay for more food and more care, more electricity, cable, you name it. That leaves us with $28,000 a month in net profit. We're still in Santa Rosa. We're still charging $8,000 a month, but on one home you make $6,000 and the other home you make $28,000. If it's the same amount of work for you as the owner operator, which one do you want? I know my answer. The more seniors you have, the better. Because again, it is the same amount of work for you. You're getting paid more for it in one case scenario and less in the other. If you're not using your own money to get started, how many of these homes do you think you can do? We encourage having a 3-pack at the Residential Assisted Living Academy. So the question has now been conquered. Do RCFE owners make money? If they're doing it right, heck yes. But 80% of this industry is run mom and pop. They live in the home and they work in the home and they do everything themselves. And that is not how you run a profitable business, by building yourself a job. So if you're getting started, look at someone's life that you want your life to be like. You know, I spend 5 hours a week running all 3 of my care homes, and I'm happy to mentor or coach you along the way. Give our channel a like or subscribe, but I'm going to encourage you to look at the person who you're going to follow in their step. Look at their life. If someone is living in the home and working in the home and that's not what you want to do, then don't follow their advice. Take good advice. It leads to good results. I'll see you back here for the next video.